mono. Look at that baby.
You folks keep watching Western State Sports. This is your man.
I got him. I'm here with Bill Dance. Bill, how you doing?
Good to see you, David.
It's nice to see you. I see you. I try to see you at every iCast. Didn't make it to Florida. How was that show down there in Florida last year?
It was hot.
Was
just like Vegas.
Yeah.
It was a good show. You know, we were kind of coming through some rough years, but
Right.
the interest level was good, and you know, we're on an upswing. We go through cycles.
Right.
It's just like everything goes through cycles.
Exactly.
You know, you look at the economy; it goes through bad cycles. You know, wildlife goes through cycles. Fishing goes through cycles.
Exactly.
Everything goes through cycles. Your marriage goes through cycles.
More than one cycle
Well,
sometimes.
yeah. So everything in life goes through cycles. So.
Exactly. Bill, you know, I was talking to Will here at HiSeas, AFW,
Right.
and I noticed that you signed on with them.
Right.
Now, I've been using their product also for 3 years on the water. I've talked about it on my show. It's an amazing product. It's a tough product. I mean, it's a tough line. I mean,
Right.
I don't worry about a break off. What have you found out about it?
Well, you know, when I first heard about them, you know, they make a series of lines from their fluorocarbon lines to their clear fluorocarbons to their, they've got a camo fluorocarbon now, to their copolymers, to their braids, to their monos, I've been quite impressed with it. I've had the opportunity to fish with the fluorocarbons. We're doing both saltwater now, and we're
Right.
doing freshwater. We do a series for one network on the Outdoor Channel for saltwater, and then on Versus we do our freshwater series, which we've been doing forever.
Right.
But we're in our second year with saltwater, so it gives me an opportunity to experiment and play with a lot of different
Right.
lines from with fluorocarbons tied to braids and of course with monos in freshwater where I use braids too. You know, there's a market for both lines.
Right.
You know, it just depends on what you're doing for different species. There's a market for, you know, those misconceptions of you don't want stretch. Well, you do want stretch in certain situations. So mono has its place, braid has its place.
Right.
Where you want more sensitivity and you don't want stretch, you've got braid.
Right.
Where you do want a little stretch, you can go with mono. But the thing that I look for, especially in mono, which I probably use more mono in freshwater than I do braid, and I use more braid in saltwater than I do mono. The first thing I look for in a mono, of all the different properties a mono has, if that mono has good knot strength, is the number one thing I look for. I can live with the other properties.
Okay.
The second thing I look for is abrasion resistance. Those two key properties, I can live with everything else. Then I like limpness, and I like tensile strength because I want a little bit of tension.
Right.
I do want a certain amount of stretch, a little bit of stretch. The longer mono stays in the water, it absorbs water, and it's going to give a little bit more stretch. But if it's got good knot strength, it all starts at 75% of all line failure starts at the knot. So what has impressed me, and has really impressed me with, say, Grand Slam, for instance, this in their monos, for instance, is their knot strength. And then again, in their abrasion resistance. I have been fishing in a lot of timber for the last 6 weeks, last 2 months, in real heavy stuff.
Right.
And the thing that impressed me is hanging a fish, and nice sized fish, bass, for instance, and they get down in those treetops. Well, the one thing I've learned when you hang a fish in a treetop, the mistake that a lot of people make is when a fish hangs you up, the mistake most fishermen make, they hang him and they winch. They start reeling as fast as they can, and they pull that fish up on the cover. Well, when they get the fish up on the cover to a point, he's got to swim to be able to free himself. Well, they'll winch him up against a limb to where he can't move.
Right.
So the thing to free a high percentage of the fish, and I can honestly say this, you can do it, anyone can do it. I do it, your son can do it, your wife can do it, your daughter can do it. If a fish bushes you or hangs you up in cover, one key thing, if that fish pulls down 2 feet, you pull back 2 feet. I said pull, not reel.
Right.
If he pulls 3 feet down in the cover, you pull back 3 feet. If he pulls a foot, you pull a foot. Whatever he pulls, you pull the same back. You don't reel. So what's happening during that pulling process, when he's pulling, you're pulling, abrasion resistance is playing a role. That mono is going back and forth across that limb.
Right.
Well, what I found with this stuff, it is amazing. In the past couple of months, fishing in a lot of timber, these fish have moved off the bank and they're moved out and suspended in a lot of this timber, and I'm catching them 10, 12, 15 feet deep suspended in treetops. And most of them, these tops come up to about 10 feet of the surface. And these fish are down deep in these suspended, and we're kind of fishing creature baits and worms up over these treetops, and they grab it and take off down in it.
Right.
And you're trying to get them up out of it. Well, the knot strength and the abrasion resistance that this line provides is simply amazing. But I always play mental games. When I went with this particular company, I've got a hickory tree, and I don't know if you know what a hickory tree is.
Oh, I know what a hickory tree is.
Okay, a hickory tree is just hard as bodock.
Right.
I mean, my mother used to switch me with a hickory limb, and I tell you
I got the willow.
Well, the willow's bad too, but you know, I mean, if she long as she didn't talk to you, you were fine.
Right.
But if she switched you and talked to you, you know, I told you 50 times not to do that. You know, just don't talk to me when you switch me. Just wait and finish.
This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me.
Every time she'd hit you, she'd talk. But she used a hickory switch, and buddy, I mean, it'd whoop you. But I play a game when I take a line. I've got a little limb on this hickory tree right outside the house. And I'll take the mono, and I'll hang it over that hickory tree, that limb, and I'll go as fast as I can to try to build up friction on that line. Then I'll look at the line to check the abrasion resistance. Then I'll tie a knot right there where I've been building the friction, and I try to pop it. That tells me the quality of a line. And I can assure you, and this is not a commercial. If it sounds like a commercial, so be it. This line is the most impressive line. I'm not talking about the copolymers, I'm just talking about the mono. This Grand Slam mono is one of the toughest, smoothest, takes a positive set, the castability of the line, the knot strength of the line, the abrasion resistance is superb. I mean, it's absolutely, and I agree with you. When you hang that bait and try to pull.
I've tried. I thought I was going to break the rod, and I'll tell you what I found with it is I fish the Snake River for smallmouth bass. Those 3, 4, 5 pounders, they go down into them rocks, into them lava rocks. I haven't lost one due to the line.
Well, this and a mono. Now they make this also in a braid.
Right.
And the braid has its place, but the one thing that I've noticed, one line that they're making a terminally bonded braid, and they make this up to 30-pound test. Now this, they make it in a gold and they make it in a green, but this terminally bonded braid for spinning is superb because it's bonded. It's so smooth. I mean, this is just as smooth as it can be. You can feel it. It feels like silk.
Now, Bill, is this wildfire? Because I was asking Will, is this new? Is this newer?
No, they've had this for a little while.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Because I haven't used the Wildfire yet.
But what it does, that is just smooth. Now they make that in a green, and
Right.
they make it in a yellow, but it on a spinning reel, this 30-pound test has a mono diameter of 8-pound test.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine on an open face spinning reel,
Right.
you're fishing 30, and the castability is just superb.
Right.
It takes a good positive set on the reel. So this would allow you to fish 30-pound test in a heavy covered situation and throw an 1/8-ounce bait
Right.
on a medium action rod.
Mhm.
Of course, that's really exaggerated. You could really switch off to 12-pound test
Right.
in Wildfire, and you're throwing probably 4-pound test mono diameter.
Right.
So, and you've got the strength of say, probably breaking strength, and this would be a little bit higher rated than actual 12-pound test. But what's impressive about this line is how soft it is, how smooth it is. But a key thing about it, it's a round braid.
Mm-hmm.
Now the advantages to a round braid is full bodied. And whether you pick HiSeas, if you select a braid, select and buy a round braid line. Whoever braid line you buy, whether it's HiSeas or anybody else. And the reason you want a round braid line is for one reason. A round line, what it does, it is not going to take a positive, embed down in the reel itself.
Right.
So, well, like a flat line, it will take a set and bind. This is a full-bodied line, and it does not embed down into the reel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use it on bait casting, like on a hook set,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it embeds in.
Right.
Well, full-bodied round braid doesn't do that.
Really?
This line won't do that.
Hey, I'm Daryl Jolly with Rhino Laboratories. Today we're making an instructional video to show you the best practices that we have found to set up and use our two new products that we're bringing to the market this year, the Evolution XP1 and the Cut and Run. The XP1 takes less than 30 seconds out of the bag to be using. The Cut and Run takes less than 20 seconds out of the bag. We hope these videos will help you in your initial setup and you'll see just how easy our products are to use. The first product we're going to demonstrate today is the Evolution XP1. Once you select your hunting location, lay the bag down, take the blind out, and begin assembly. Grab the top hub, locate two rods from that hub and fully extend them to form a V. Fold the blind back to form a square. Once you form a square, pop up on the hub while pulling down on the fabric to fully extend the rods and expose one full panel of your blind. Once you have the first wall fully extended, pull the blind over your head, shake down the walls, and pop out the remaining 4 hubs. Now your Evolution XP1 ground blind is set up and ready to hunt. To take down the Evolution XP1, grab a rod on the roof hub and pull down. Pull in the left wall, right wall, and front wall and back out from under the blind. Collapse the back wall and fold the blind over in front of you. Place the blind back in the bag and you're ready to go. Now we're going to show you the assembly for the Cut and Run blind. Take the blind out of the bag and unfold the two sides. Pop out each hub, fully extending the rods. Adjust the two sides to meet your needs and set the windows accordingly. To take down the Cut and Run, simply pull in the two hubs, fold the blind on top of itself, and place it back in the bag. We at Rhino Labs would like to thank you for purchasing our products. We encourage you to share your pictures and video of successful hunts using our products. You can submit these through our contact page on our website at rhino-labs.com. Thank you and good hunting.
It casts great, it lays on the reel great, performs exceptionally well.
Okay.
And I'm highly, highly impressed with that line. I'll tell you how, to interrupt you just for a minute, I'm bragging on the line. I took it with 30-pound, I took the 30-pound, this big as they make it,
Right.
in the green. In this one, here's the green.
Okay.
All right, I took it and put it on a bait casting reel.
Mm-hmm.
I took it on a V-spool bait casting reel, a small Quantum bait casting reel. An E-Series, one of those that Kevin guy that fishes, what's his name? Kevin
Van Dam or
Van Dern or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever
Yeah,
his name
yeah.
is. But Kevin promoting this new V-spool that Quantum has come out with. Well, I took Grand Slam 30. That reel will hold 270 yards of 8-pound line. Okay, this line diameter is 8-pound mono diameter.
Right.
So it held 270 yards, but it's really just a bait cast
Right.
that you'd worm fish with. Well, I put it on a 7-foot medium action bass rod. I was at Key Biscayne, south of Miami. I went there to do a permit show, and I couldn't catch them. But I noticed these sharks offshore about 2 miles on a flat. And I told this buddy of mine, Andy Thompson, Captain Andy Thompson, who lives in Homestead, I said, "Do you think we could catch those things? We can't catch the permit, and I've got one more day." He said, "Yeah, we'll catch them." And they were blacktip, bulls, tigers, and lemons. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "How big are they?" He said, "They're running 50, 60 pounds. They're males, and they're here, there are jillions of them. They were up on that flat to spawn."
Right.
Well, the next day we go back. Well, they weren't there, but the females were. And I hung using this Grand Slam 30 with a 60 section of 60-pound HiSeas fluorocarbon and number 5 AWF wire leader and a Gamakatsu hook, and using just a piece of jack fillet.
Right.
I hung 9 shark. One broke the hook, literally broke the hook. 3 got off. 1 broke the fluorocarbon line, just broke where I had my knot tied. I tied a bad knot, and I used a uni, tying a uni to the fluorocarbon. But I boated 4. I boated 4 on that bass rod, and I titled the show Bass Tackle Sharking. I had a 70-pound blacktip. I had 250-pound lemons and 170-pound lemon on 30-pound wildfire. So
And you only had one break off due to bad.
My fluorocarbon knot came untied, and that was I tied a poor uni knot. You could see where it pigtailed,
Right.
where it pulled loose. So the 30-pound test and landed 4 sharks over 500 pounds, and one of them weighed 170. I love these bass guys that say, "Well, boy, I hung this bass, I couldn't even turn her." You know, well, I tell you what, I used a 7-foot medium action Quantum energy bass rod, and that bass reel, what I'd throw a crankbait with,
Right.
and used 30-pound wildfire with a 60-pound fluorocarbon leader and a little wire, number 5 AWF wire leader, and caught those sharks. You could have done it. We had to chase them a little bit. But
We used it on the Snake River for sturgeon, and it held up.
It does.
It held up. And yeah, like you're saying, I'm pulling that bass in. Well, they don't know what pulling is until you got a sturgeon that's 7 foot long, and you have strap me in. That's all you want to be, is strapped in.
I've never caught one of them, but I'd love to do that.
Boy, they're amazing fish. Now, Bill, great product. See it on your show. We use it on our show. I want to talk about your show. What's coming up? A little bit of what's coming up. You do the ocean fishing. You do freshwater fishing. 2 different shows.
Yeah, we do 26 original freshwater for Versus, and we do. We're only doing 18 original saltwater shows for the Outdoor Channel, but we rerun.
Right.
You know, throughout the year, just we're mixing them. So our strength has always been in our freshwater show and our educational format. Excuse me. And our saltwater show has been, this is something you can do. That's been our kind of our play word. This is something you can do. But I can't spell. Well, I learned how to spell salt last year, and I'm working on water this year. But I go each week with authoritative people, and it was like Tom Rowland and Rich Tudor, 2 guys who were right here. They do that saltwater experience.
Right.
And I was with Rich down there catching barracuda near Alamorada about a month ago, and then I go with different guys that authoritative people. They're guides in that area. And I question them. I kind of host it, and I ask them tell me about this species. When is the best time to fish for it? How to fish for it? What's the best type of tackle? What makes this fish? Why is he here? What about his habits? What about his habitat? Interesting tidbits about the fish. And it's kind of an educational type format. And this is something you can do it. And we relate it more to inshore because more people can do inshore than, say, blue water and offshore. But, however, we did a little bit of offshore from Virginia Beach on white marlin and some stuff off the Carolina coast on big amberjack. And then we went offshore from Orange Beach out of Alabama and did snapper. But most of the stuff is inshore.
Well, that's nice that you do it informative, because a lot of these shows is just, and they don't tell you how to do it.
Well, that's always been our strength, has been in our educational format.
Right. Bill, I'm going to put you on the spot, okay?
Okay.
We'll give one tip to all the young anglers out there that are wanting to fish, not get into this business, not...
No, I just think the best tip I could give anybody, whether it be a young angler or a beginning fisherman or anybody, just try to go as often as you can. Go with an authoritative, somebody that knows something about it. Ask lots of questions, observe, and try to make it a practice to learn one new thing on every outing.
Right.
I think if you do that in the long run, it'll pay off.
Exactly.
If it's a youngster, I think I get a lot of emails from youngsters that want to really get into this business, but the most important thing that, like I told my children, Diane and I were blessed. We had 4 children, 1 girl and 3 boys, and the one thing that we pounded into their heads as much as possible, and what I tell any other youngster, that the most important thing that you can do right now, especially now, more so than back when our children were growing up, although it was important then, but it's even more important now, is to get the best education you can possibly get, because if you don't have that education, you're not going to be able to enjoy many of the things that you and I enjoy today, the great outdoors, and be able to afford and do these type of things. So it all starts with a good education, getting a good education, and keep your head on straight. And don't be misled with all the crazy things that are going on in this world today with drugs and get misled with, your mother and daddy can bring you up and tell you the rights and wrongs, and another kid can just say, try this and try that, and mislead you in the opposite way. Just do what your parents have taught you to do, and lead a good Christian life, and in the long run, you'll be a much better person for doing it, and you'll be able to enjoy the things that you and I have enjoyed doing, getting out hunting and fishing. And I encourage every mother and daddy to spend as much time with their children as they possibly can and take them fishing, take them out.
It goes by quick.
Absolutely.
My children are all grown up now. Littlest one's 18, and it just went by so quick. And there's things that I wish I could have went back and redone, instead of fishing. You don't
want to put yourself on a guilt trip. We can always think of the things that we wish we'd have done, but we did a lot of right things too. So
I got good kids.
I know Diane and I were blessed that we got through 4. We gave them a good home. They came along. They got a good education, and they're all up. They have families now, and we've got grandchildren, and they're all on the right track, and teaching them what's right from wrong. And but stay away from those bad things. Stay away from that stupid drugs, because they'll lead you down the wrong road, and you'll never get anywhere in life. They
always do. Bill, I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. And it's always good to see you.
It's nice to see you. You enjoy this iCast. It looks like it should be another good year here.
Right. Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And, you folks keep watching Western States Sportsman. This is your man.
Great thing.
Yamamoto. Look at that baby. You folks keep watching Western States Sports. This is your man.
I got him.